With the Steel on a bye, our ANZ Championship review this week is through the eyes of Pulse coach Robin Broughton. The Wellingtonians accounting for the Mystics, but not before a few scares along the way. Early in the round, the Fever were practice fodder for the Vixens, the Swifts snuffed out the mathematical chances of the Thunderbirds, and the Magic broke their losing sequence with a comprehensive win over the Tactics. But the next round will all be about how well the Pulse can travel.
That must-win mentality is something you now need to employ every week. And I hate to be cliche, but the destiny is in your hands. You win 2 games, you're in the finals.
Oh, it's exactly like we use that word too. It's in our hands and it's our destiny, and if we want it, we've got to go and find a way to get it. So we had 2 unfortunate losses that I still wake up worrying about, because we should never have lost against the Tactics. Our first game against them, we just played particularly badly, and we were probably underprepared when we played the opening game as against Thunderbirds, which we lost by 1. And I think that we hadn't been together enough. We'd had our ferns away for 6 weeks and hadn't had a lot together. We had a few pre-seasons, but not enough. And at that level, you have to have them together for quite a while, especially the elite players, just to get their timing with one another right. And I didn't think it happened that time, but we're much better now.
There'll be a lot of emphasis, no doubt, in media and other circles about having not won in Australia, and that's where you do have to win now. Is there something you actually even talk about as a side?
We do, everybody does. It's significantly different when we go there. It's the same rule book. We use the same rule book, but we interpret differently and we play differently. I just never can understand what goes on, because we should be able to do as well over there as we do here. So you just have to get on with it and just play as best you can to the rules of the game and the way it's been ruled, and adapt yourself very quickly once you see where it's been and how it's been ruled.
Firebird's in exactly the same position as you. You need to. I mean, that game is the entire season for both of you hinges on that result.
Oh, it's a bit of beauty then. Yes, we know that. It's amazing the statistics that you get, how close we are, and those statistically as well. And they've got a very mobile mid-court, and we have too. We've got a fast mid-court. So all those things are sort of much the same. So it's going to be an exciting clash. And saying that, the players at the level they get to, they look forward to that challenge. It's I can sense that, we're looking forward to that. It's a quick turnaround. That's the only thing that concerns me. I mean, we played last night and we play again on Saturday. So it is a quick turnaround plus the travel that goes with it.
Are you staying in Australia between the 2 games?
No. Again, that's financial consideration. It would have been probably better to fly from Brisbane over to Perth, but that wasn't to be, so we come home again and then we go again. Yeah.
And I suppose it's good preparation, because when you make this final, you're going to probably play some games in Australia, so you might as well get used to it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. So we'll just get this. We're not going to look too far ahead. We'll just get this week's one out and just see how well we can do.
The Vixens top of the table comfortably. Are they clearly the best team, do you think, through round robin?
They've had their ups and downs too, and sometimes they make big changes in their who they put out there. So they obviously within their own makeup, they're not sure which is their best. Sometimes I think they're absolutely outstanding. I think Jiva Mentor is probably my pick of defensive players in the competition. I think she's very, very good. She's got good technical knowledge and good body position all the time and things like that. And her combined with Chatfield, they're pretty out there. So yeah, they're up and down. I think they've got chinks in their armour, and I think that, like the Magic beat them over there on their own home patch, so that was a biggie. So they're beatable.
And that's been a feature of this competition. Nobody is really completely dominated, and people have good times and bad times.
No, it's to me it's the hardest one that I've been associated with, and the closest score differences. I think a lot of the big high ball going in has changed the complexion of it. You can score very quickly with the big players at the back, where you can just chuck the ball in. That's changed the look of the game. And I'm just wondering if they're going to make changes to maybe what the points allocation should be. Maybe getting the shots in from further out and just adding to the excitement of it rather than looking at someone standing right beside the post just popping those goals in. So that's interesting.
We hear that's being trialled, isn't it? The 2-point shot, and I think it's been roundly applauded by the fans, at least from what I'm hearing.
And the players, like we if we talk about it, it's something that the teams think about as well. But the ANZ they can trial those things, the ANC competition, but they chose not to. But I think this is being trialled in the under-23 competition, so I think that's a really good idea.
Other changes afoot and the proposed new format, not quite sure the details yet, but one of the aspects is more teams in the playoffs. Do you think that's a good idea, to reward more teams?
Well, I read all of that. I'm just not sure what the best options are. Like rugby does the conferences, so you have so many teams in, but you've only got 5 teams in each country. Whether they're going to increase the number of teams or not, I don't know, but there must be financial considerations and restrictions on that. It's interesting.
Is the player depth there to have more?
I don't think we probably have got the player depth that the Australians have got. We don't seem to be having a lot of young ones coming through yet that can actually take the place of. Most of the teams are looking at experienced players. And because it's a pretty gruelling competition, and one mistake leads to another, and they can multiply pretty quickly. So, our high performance area in the grades below the ANZ, we probably need to be looking at that and seeing what we can do there.
Let's to worry about it in the future year. It's next week that matters. Have you got a clear line-up in your mind, or are you going to do some thinking in the next few days?
When you're training as much as we train, you can see which of the players I'm blessed with those international players like the D's, Katrina Grant, Tahuanga, Jolene Henry, and then I've got Ama Ekbezi, and whenever I've brought her on, she's performed. She's an English player, and I'm hoping she'll go back and be in the English team for the Commonwealth Games. I think she's trained well and played well. Having Donna there is a help at that end, and certainly Irene, Liana, Leota coming back in and things like that. So things are really looking up.
Is Liana ready for a full match, do you think? We've watched her progress nice, steady but slowly.
Yeah, we did it steady at the beginning, but maybe we hurry it up now. No, she's good. She wants to be there all the time. She's an enthusiast, and she's just a wise sort of person of the game. Her knowledge of the game and her ability under pressure's invaluable in a team.
And I guess the motivational talk won't need to be much for the players of that experience. They know what's in front of them and how important it is.
The killer instinct comes out. I always laugh at Donna's. It's just, you must be born with it, I think. That's what we're here for. That's what we're going to do, type thing.
Because it's more than just her playing ability that makes a difference. You can tell the whole mood of the court changes when you put a player on of that ilk.
Yes, it's the sort of intensity that they bring. She, for instance, had a really, we played it down a bit, but a severe ankle injury. Happened at training. She landed on someone's foot, and they're often the worst. And I thought, well, that's the end of this for the season. But no, the rehab and the insistence and the just persistence, she's back. I think the physios and medical people will, what? How can this happen? So anyway, she's back.
On the ladder, the top 3 are vying for home game advantage, while the Pulse and Firebirds virtually have a straight shootout this weekend for the last qualifying spot, a game that also takes the steel out of the equation once and for all, as the Southerners were relying on upsets last week that didn't eventuate. The Swiss versus Magic showdown is the other game of interest, given what may be at stake in those playoffs. The Edgar Centre is the place to be for Steel fans as they take on the Tactics on Sunday night.